You hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. So I guess we'll start with the basics. Who are we and what are we trying to do? So we are Michigan Initiative for Community Healing. So we're a ballot initiative for the state composed of the Decriminalize Nature Michigan group that me and Julie formed and head up. People for Healthy Choices, the group behind the Detroit initiative, Prop E, that passed by 61% to decriminalize entheogenic plants and fungi. Decriminalize Nature National, the groups behind this nationwide movement of now 14 cities, I believe. And Students for Sensible Drug Policy, an international organization of students and alumni that seek to change drug policy across the globe. So we've all banded together to form Michigan Initiative for Community Healing. And this is what our language would do. So for entheogens, for those that don't know, I'm assuming you all do, entheogens are plants and fungi naturally occurring that awaken the divine within. This would include psilocybin mushrooms, mescaline containing cacti, the DMT containing ingredients in ayahuasca, and iboga. And ibogaine containing substances. So it would decriminalize the cultivation, use, possession, and sharing of entheogenic plants and fungi. It would allow doctor recommendation and consultation. It would allow production, sale, and administration of these substances by medical and religious entities. And it would allow for remuneration of services around these substances. That means your space holders, your guides, or somebody who's receiving therapy, the therapist can still charge for the therapy session while they are not able to necessarily charge for the substance itself. And certain rules may prevent them from actually providing the substance themselves. But that's not all it does. We all know that drug war is one of the biggest failures in the history of our country. So it would lower the penalties for possession and use of all controlled substances. So this is substances that are not entheogenic plants and fungi would still have lowered penalties. It does not affect trafficking and manufacture, but it does get rid of what we currently have on the book, which is 5, 10, 20, 30-year lifelong sentences and lifetime for probation for victimless crimes. Nobody should be going to prison for victimless crime. It would end the arrest of minuscule amounts of controlled substances and paraphernalia. So where that's residue in your pipe, dust in a baggie, nobody's going to jail for that anymore once this passes. And the final thing it does is removes drug checking materials and analysis equipment from the paraphernalia statute. So drug checking is things like damp safe or bunk police reagents, fentanyl test strips, and these sorts of things. This drug checking is vital to preventing overdose or unintentional consumption of a substance. So if he's trying to do a little Molly and oops, it has fentanyl in it, this would change that. So that's really what we're trying to do with this all drugs section. But while these are the key points, we're asking people to stick to the bullet points rather than the who, what, where, and why each of these points. It's important to know during this section, we're really focused on getting signatures, not on educating people. We educate after we make the ballot, which means we need to get the signatures first. So there's a few steps to getting going here. First, complete this training and take the test. We ask everybody to get 100% on the test. It is 13 true or false questions. And if you get any wrong, just retake it. And if you answered true and it was wrong, answer false the next time. But when you get it wrong, it will tell you what was wrong about it so you can learn. But if you pay attention closely here, you'll get it the first time. You can skip the agreement right now because we haven't gotten that together. Get your petitions from a hub. Julie will share at some point a list of current hubs. Right where I'm at right now, our list of hubs is growing by the minute, literally. So we'll have some more petition hubs available soon, hopefully getting them into Flint tonight. And then collect signatures on your petition. Return your sign sheets to the hub you got them from, not a different hub, and pick up more petitions. It's a pretty simple process, but again, it's more a question of getting the signatures, not of so much educating people. So I'm gonna switch my screens here very quick.
Mike, just a couple quick things. One, there is a fair amount of background noise. I can hear you okay, but it's a little irritating. I'm a little bit worried about the recording, but it is what it is. I don't know if you can change that. And two, we can hear you great. We can't really see you. I don't know if you can change that.
Does that help?
There we go. Thank you.
Sorry, I had my camera blocker off or on. Okay, let me reshare my screen with the new screen. All right. Oh, that's not it. Hold on. I apologize. I'm trying to do this right the first time. There we go. Can you see this?
Yes.
This is not the right version. I apologize. Give me a second.
I have a picture of a petition right here. If you want me to pull that up, I can share my screen.
See if this one's right. Yeah, if you can do that. Sorry, I had one.
Okay, no problem. Here we go.
My cache updated.
Preparing in case you didn't show.
Okay. So, Julie, you're going to have to mouse over this for me.
Okay, got it.
So the first thing on this is the very top line. Everyone here is not a paid signature gatherer. You are a volunteer signature gatherer. So this box that Julie's now highlighting, X or check. Then each one of these petitions has to pertain to a specific county. So whatever when you approach somebody, the first thing you're going to ask them is, are you a registered voter in the state of Michigan? When they say yes, you say, what county are you registered to vote in? So here you would then, if you don't have that county, say somebody here just asked to sign from Kent County, I take this line and I write Kent in the middle of this line. That line says, we, the undersigned, qualified and registered electors, residents in the county of Kent, state of Michigan, respectively petition for legislation. Nobody from another county, once this is designated to Kent, can sign. You cannot have one with multiple counties represented on it. So the very first signature, wherever they are, that's the county for the sheet, and everybody else that signs this one must be from that same county. That means you can have up to 83 different petitions going at the same time. Why? Because there's 83 counties in the state of Michigan. The important thing I would say here is make sure you're spelling the county name right. Things like Shiawassee, Genesee, Isabella, any of them that may have double letters hidden throughout them or single letters where you think there's a double letter. Also very complicated names, really easy to screw up. So if you don't know, grab your smartphone, look up the name of the county and do it there. So then the next thing you do is you walk them through the line. And I mean, literally crawl with them through this line. I'm going to drill this into you all, but we cannot screw this part up. Generally, a petition drive needs to get double the amount of signatures that's required because people screw them up. So when they go to sign, the first thing we're going to say right here where Julie's mouse is, we're going to say, sign here. As soon as they're getting done signing, you're gonna say, okay, now print your name here. We're gonna point at it right as they go along. When they get here, this is important. The address you are registered to vote at, not necessarily the residence where you live. There are several cases why somebody may be registered to vote at a different address than where they live. So make sure that they're registered to vote in the correct county. And then when they put their address, they put the address that they're registered to vote at. Same thing here, city or township, you are registered to vote at. And this whole time you're literally pointing at the box and walking them across this. Zip code that you're registered to vote at. And then this one, here's where everybody screws up. They want to write their birth date here. I'm going to stop them before they even get here. I'm going to say 03/29/2022. You know why? Because that's today's date. And whatever day it is, tomorrow it's going to be 03/30/2022. And every day, just read that out loud to them as they get here, or they will write their birth date. And when they do that, we have a spoiled petition. So what do you do if somebody screws up here? You have to make one single strike through line all the way across the entire thing. So across the signature, name, address, county petition, not crossing out each one, not scribbling it out. One single horizontal strike through line across the entire entry. And then you initial as the canvasser or circulator. If you don't do that, the whole petition goes bad. So you need to make sure that they're doing this right. Strike through should be in pen. All of this should be in black or blue pen, no gel pens. So once you have all 8 of your signatures, or you're ready to turn in partially complete page, then you're going to sign this bottom right section. So signature, your signature, the date. This date should not precede any of the dates above it from when people signed. Your printed name, your complete residence address, not where you're registered to vote, your residence, and your city, township, state, zip code there. If you live in the state of Michigan, you do not need to worry about this 5th line. You do not fill that out. That is only for people who do not live in Michigan that are circulating petitions. And this checkbox over to the left, you also do not worry about if you live in the state of Michigan. If you do not live in the state of Michigan and you wish to collect here, you check that box and you write the county that you're registered to vote in from the other state. Okay, can we go back to the other?
I'll let you screen share now.
Okay.
Or what do you want? I can pull something else up if you want.
No, I'm right there. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to start with what to do. First, ask if they're a registered voter in the state of Michigan. If they're registered in Indiana, if they're registered in California, they cannot sign this. Then, as we discussed, ask what county they're registered to vote in. This has to correlate with the sheet. I'm sorry that I'm repeating myself, but people screw these up. We don't need to collect 680,000 signatures. We only need 340,000 valid signatures. So the more validity we have, the less we've got to do it. So we're going to drill this into collectors so it's done right. Next, use that appropriate county petition for each individual. Make sure they use the address that they're registered to vote at, not their residence. Now, you may ask, what's an instance of that? Think of a student. They live in Grand Rapids. Sorry, I'm gonna wait for the clapping to stop. They may live in Grand Rapids, but go to school in Big Rapids. So they may be living in Big Rapids, registered to vote in Grand Rapids, or vice versa. Students do it, switch flip-flop of those all the time. So make sure it's where they're registered to vote. Making sure the information is filled out in full and correct. Telling them the correct date. I talked about that. Make sure that date is correct. If they are unsure where they're registered to vote, encourage them to look up where they're registered to vote. It's as simple as Googling, where am I registered to vote in Michigan? The top link then is the Secretary of State website, the exact page you need to go to enter your address or your name or your driver's license number or any number of things to find out where you were registered to vote. We will also be distributing QR codes that people can print with these petitions that will take you straight to the page. Most importantly, get the signature and move along. Like I said, this is not our chance for education. If somebody's gonna ask you a bunch of questions or really excited about the petition and wants to talk your ear out for 15 minutes, get the signature and move on. We need to get a lot of signatures in 1/3 the time that it usually happens. Nobody has ever done it quite this fast, but we've got the team, we've got the volunteer effort, and we've got more going on than anybody's ever had in terms of infrastructure to make this happen. So we're going to do it in 65 days, now 61. Next, stick to the brief talking points I highlighted at the beginning when asked for information. Don't get into the whys, would you do this or anything like that. Next, get your petitions only from a verified hub. This means do not print the petition. Do not copy the petition. Do not accept a petition from some guy off the street. Get this from one of our verified hubs and stay in contact with your hub about collection status, meaning they're the ones you're going to turn it back into. So we want to make sure that they're the ones that are getting it back. And when they contact you, please answer the phone. If you don't contact them and let them know what's up in a week, they're going to follow up with you. Next, the don'ts. We're going to sound really redundant here because it's almost the opposite of what I just said. Do not fill out that bottom right corner of the petition that's for the canvasser, that's you, until the petition is filled in full or being turned in. Do not have anybody sign a petition after you filled out that bottom right corner. Do not assume where a person lives is where they're registered to vote. Don't let any spaces go unfilled by a signer. Don't spend a ton of time trying to educate the voters. Again, this comes after June 1st. If you're going to collect on private property, you must have the express permission of the owner. As a general rule, and this is a question on the test, so I hope you're paying attention, you cannot collect on private property, but there are exceptions. Permission of the owner. So grocery stores, off limits. Shopping centers, off limits. Malls, off limits. But also the entrances to these places and their parking lots are generally private property. Unless you have permission of the owner or the head of security, as a lot of malls have, outer state ownership, do not collect there. The only time I would try at a shopping center or a mall is if there's a Secretary of State at this location. If there's a Secretary of State asking the head of security or the property management, if you can stand in front of the Secretary of State because it's a government agency and you're petitioning, doing a civic duty, that's usually the one time they're going to say yes. Do not, and I cannot stress this enough, do not fill in any part of the form for a signer. That means if they got the date wrong, don't try and fix it. Cross it out, move along, or have them resign. When I say cross, that's single strike through with your initials. Do not print or make your own copies of the petitions. And as a general rule, don't sign your own petition, sign somebody else's. So you and a friend are going out collecting and neither of you have signed. I'd assume by the time you have petitions, you would have signed from your hub. But if not, sign your friends and have your friends sign yours. So then some key strategy here. The goal during this part of the point is to get as many of these valid signatures as possible, as quickly as possible. So do not waste your time with education. Finally, no matter whether someone is for or against us, almost everyone can agree that any issue should be left to the will of the people. This is a bigger selling point than the issue itself for many people. Education comes after we gather the signatures. It's better to move along to the next person than try and persuade someone or spend too much time explaining the initiative. And events in public spaces are a great place to collect. Julie, I'm gonna let you finish this. It's getting really loud here, but I do want to try and give, I'm gonna mute myself, but I'm gonna try and give a clip of a live gathering here if I can. So everybody can hear me do this. No, you won't get a good shot because I can't turn off this background. Maybe I can. How do I turn off virtual backgrounds? Yeah, go ahead.
You're muted now.
Yeah, go ahead and finish for a second. I'll try and fix my background and do a live.
Okay. All right, so we're going to be, again, you can't see my cursor, but outside the Secretary of State's offices are one of the best places to collect. Traffic is really consistent each day. These are very likely people who are, Michigan residents. So as long as the entrance is on public property, that's a really, really good place to collect. Business owners cannot force you to leave in front of their shop if you are on a public sidewalk. They might want you to leave, but they can't force you to leave as long as you are on public property at that time. Okay. Mike, can you go down on the screen? Deadlines. All signatures need to be turned in regularly so we can validate as we go. We're going to be validating almost on a daily basis. So as soon as you have a sheet that is filled, please turn that back in. Coordinate with your hub to arrange times to drop off regularly and immediately after collecting large events. That's going to be really important. Let me see if I can stop Mike's screen. Oh, wait, did he just go down? No. Let me see if I can stop his screen share. Okay, let me go to my screen share. Okay, I think you guys can see my screen now. There we go. Okay, perfect. So your hub is going to follow up with you. If you're going to be a hub, we're going to have a sheet where we're tracking everybody's who has petitions out and when and dates and how many, because we want to keep that moving. We don't want people sitting on petitions they're not going to use. We need the signatures to come in so we can verify. So please do not ignore these attempts. Here's the hubs. I put them in the chat already, but they're in this document also. Here's what we have so far. These are constantly changing. We are getting more and more every day. If they're not in your area yet, be patient with us because they will. We're about to get petitions in most dispensaries. And so there'll be really easy places to go. But these are the current hubs: Ann Arbor, Lansing, Grand Rapids. Those are our central hubs, right? And then we also have hubs at Grand Rapids. This is a business, Purple East, where you can run in during business hours and sign. Otherwise, you can reach out to Decriminalize Nature Kalamazoo, Decriminalize Nature Ferndale. There's a hub in Detroit. I'm about to send petitions to Marquette, so there'll be a hub in the UP. And then in Traverse City, it's not necessarily a hub yet, but Austin has some petitions there for you to sign. And we'll just keep adding more and more every day as we go along. So here's some facts. Any US resident can gather signatures. But of course, you must be a voting, registered to vote in Michigan to actually sign, but any US resident can help us gather signatures, okay? Can people register to vote and sign the petition at the same time? No, it's really important. If you ask someone if they're registered to vote and they say they're not registered to vote, you have to just not let them sign the petition. They can go register to vote, but then they have to wait like 2 weeks before they can sign the petition to make sure everything catches up with itself. So no one can register to vote and then sign the petition in a short amount of time. If I run out of petitions, can I print more? No. You must get petitions from a hub because they have to come from the state approved printer. We've already printed all the petitions that we need. It's like 63,000 of them or something. It's just a matter of getting those specific petitions. So they have to come in and out of the hubs. If somebody, can I fill in empty petitions such as date, zip code on someone else's behalf? And the answer is no. All signers must fill out their own complete line. Nobody can fill it in for them. There is an exception to that though. If somebody is disabled and they're unable to do so, and they give verbal permission of their parent or their caretaker with them, then that parent or caregiver can sign with their verbal permission at that time. Okay, Mike, are you ready to pass it back to you?
All right, can everybody hear me? It's really loud in here.
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Thumbs up?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, are you a registered voter in the state of Michigan?
I am.
What county are you registered to vote in? Kent County. All right, I have that right here.
Yep.
Okay, so. Okay. Yeah. Actually, let me get a new one. Yeah. So I'm gonna write Kent County right here. That last one was full. Okay, so sign right here. Okay, now your printed name. And then the address you're registered to vote at. And then the city or township you're registered to vote in. And the zip code you're registered to vote in. And then today's date is 03/29/2022. Okay. Thank you so much for signing. We'll see you in November. And there you have it. Hopefully you heard that.
We did. Yep, we got it. All right, y'all. So I put the post test over there. If you want to get started on the post test, you can do that. But I want to find out if there are any questions from anybody. I know that Erin, you've had your hand up. Do you have a question? Anybody? I mean, Erin, sorry. Can folks who are not registered voters circulate the petition? Yes, if you are a US resident, you can circulate the petition. You cannot sign it unless you are a Michigan registered voter. Any other questions? Yep, go ahead. You can unmute yourself if you have a question, Courtney.
Is there any age limit on people who can go collect these?
That's a really good question. I'm going to say that you probably have to be 18 and older US resident. That is just my guess.
Okay. And if I go through like this little pamphlet thing here with a couple of my friends and they want to come with me to get these ballots and start getting votes, is that a possibility too?
You know, they have to take the post test. If they want to circulate petitions, they have to get 100% on the post test. I really encourage, because I've had my friends ask me that too. I really encourage everybody to actually watch the training. It's going to be a half hour. We recorded it today. It's a half hour and they can take the post test. I would really, really encourage that, because one little thing, one tiny thing that they do could invalidate potentially all the signatures they get if they don't have the right information. It's a waste of time. Why would they even waste their time, right? It's worth putting a half hour of time in for them to watch the recording of the video and take the post test to actually make sure they're valid.
Okay, and is there a link I'd be able to give to my friends to be able to watch this video, maybe take the post test?
Yep, we're recording it right now. So we
Okay.
will send them, if anyone here is not on our email list, go to our website and get on our email list. It's decrimnaturemi.org. Let's see if I did the spelling there correctly. You can sign up for our email list there. As soon as we have the recording ready to go, we will send that out to everybody on our email list. And so, and with the post test also, with the link for the post test. I hope you all see I did the post test. I put the link for the post test. Caleb, I see you, just one sec. Also, aside from signature gathering, another way to help us is donations. We have a very, very expensive campaign. I mean, compared to campaigns, ours is actually very inexpensive, but it's a lot of money. We're talking like a couple $1 million to run what we're doing right now. And money gets sucked up very quickly. If you can donate, if you know someone else who can donate little amounts, very big amounts, and anything in between, it would be very, very helpful to us. Caleb, go ahead with your question.
Yeah, hey, I asked in the chat about Hart Plaza. Is that's a no-no? Is that, I mean, the sidewalk out there, is that private or?
I don't know if Hart Plaza is public or private, but that
Hart Plaza is a public. Yeah, that's a public City of Detroit property.
That's what I thought. So that should be good to go then, yeah.
Caleb, the exception would be if that's like a privately hosted event. If somebody rented out Hart Plaza to say, you would
get their permission.
The host's permission.
Yeah. I know the people that run movements, so I'm gonna try to hit that up. There's gonna be a ton of people there.
That's
downtown
cool.
Detroit is always a great plan.
Yep.
Awesome. We hope to have if we can get a table in there, we're gonna definitely have a big team of people out at movement also. Yeah.
You need any contacts of getting, to get a table in there, or you guys know, the promotion team?
Well, we're hoping to work with DanceSafe, but we haven't gotten confirmation with DanceSafe yet. If you have a connection, please share that with us.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay.
We're looking for a team of folks to help us at Hash Bash. If you can help us at Hash Bash, please reach out to us by email. There's going to be potentially up to 10,000 people, I think, as the numbers at Hash Bash. So if anybody can help there, that would be amazing. We got a list of people together, but we wanted as big of a team as we can, because we could get an incredible amount of signatures there. Is somebody else trying to ask something? Okay. Any other questions? Thank you for putting it in the chat. If you wouldn't mind to actually email us, because I won't be able to remember who's making comments in the chat here. Please email us and let us know. We can put you on the list and then keep you updated where we're meeting and all the time slots and the different things that we have going on. So yeah, any other questions? Okay, you guys, we did it. Everybody's trained. You must get 100% on the post test. Like Mike said, take it again and again if you need to. They'll give you the answers that you get wrong. You could just go back and do it again, but that's the requirement for petitioning. Okay, can't wait.
Where can we take the post test? Where do we got to do to take that?
I put it in the link. Just click on it.
The first top link. All right.
You see it, the post test? I can put it again right now.
All right. Well, thank you.
Okay, I'll put it again there for anyone that didn't get it. Go ahead and click on it now. And yeah, I want to thank you all. You guys are now trained. Go take that test and we'll see you out on the streets petitioning. All right, bye everybody.
Thank you.